Hey guys, how's everyone doing this afternoon? I hope you guys are doing well. Let me say hello to those in the chat because I have a lot of recordings and I don't want to spend too much time lollygagging. All right, hey Rhoda, hey Patrick, how are you? I'm doing well. Hey Lottie, hey Shay, hey Timothy, how are you? Can you hear me now, Timothy? Let's see, you having problem with the sound. Are you can hear me? Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How you guys doing? How you guys doing this afternoon? It's pretty wonderful outside. I haven't been outside, but it seems like it's gonna be a great day. As promised, where's my Kayla? Hey buddy, where's Kayla? Because Kayla wanted me to continue back down memory lane. I need Miss Kayla in the chat. Where is she? Where's Miss Kayla? Is she in the chat? Is Kayla in the chat, guys? Let me just get my water for a second. Hey, Rhoda. Let me get my water. Hold on. Okay, I have my 2 bottles of water right here so I can drink my water. Hey, Liz. How are you? Elizabeth. All right, guys. As you guys know, Avenatti's been trending in the news lately because his sentencing will be in May, but he still has time to be out. You know. Also, he will have his other trial starting soon. Also, the trial with California, the trial with the money was it money laundering, where he was taking money and doing fraud, something with fraud, money, something like that. Anyway, we'll wait a few more seconds, and then we can discuss Mr. Avenatti. Let me see who else is coming. Hey, Margaret. See who else is in the chat. Hey, Shannon. Let's see who else. Shay, did I say hi to you already? Hey, Shay. You sent me an email this morning, Tim? Let me see. Yep, I see your email, Tim. I see your email. I see the song that you sent me. I'm going to listen to it later on. Definitely will listen to it. Hey, Audra. Hello, Phoenix Rising. Hey, Hilderland. How are you? Glad everybody's here. Let's go over some things from yesterday when we talked. We remember Valentine is coming. It would be really nice if you can send Robert a Valentine's card, just to lift his spirit up. Make sure when you're mailing out the card, make sure it's not a red envelope. Make sure the card is not red. No glittery stuff. No raise, no music, cards that has the music, things like that. No oversized card, none of those huge cards, no teddy bear, none of that stuff. But just send him a plain, even if you go to Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree has a lot of plain cards in Dollar Tree. You don't have to spend much. It's the thought that counts. And Dollar Tree cards are usually plain, and it's not all the extra stuff that will cause your card to be returned. Your card will be returned if you have things that they do not allow. And I'm going to go over some of those things with you guys again so you guys can remember not to send those type of things with in the mail to him because they're very strict. They will return your stuff. And sometimes they get mean and they won't return it. And you think Robert has your card or your whatever you're sending, and he doesn't have it. And so because they throw it in the trash, you don't want your stuff to be thrown in the trash. So I suggest that you just follow the guideline of what they're requiring for you to send if you want to send a card or a letter to him. Those letters are very much appreciative. He does receive them. He does um, get a chance. You know, the awesome thing about having time to yourself like this, you get a chance to spend it with God. Your reading becomes better. A lot of things that he may not have the time to do in the past, he's doing it, especially reading and writing, things like that. Okay, here's the guidelines of what you can have. Okay, remember, your envelope must be white envelope and white paper. No colored paper, no color cards, no red cards, no blue, green, just plain white. If that's the only one I would suggest for you to send. No glitter, lipstick. Don't kiss the card now. Don't kiss the card because your lipstick is going to have that sticky substance or that oily substance. No marker, no crayon, no perfume. Do not spray your card with perfume, okay? No perfume or fragrance. Nothing stained, okay? Don't put any kind of stain and don't put no kind of oil or anything on that card. No card stock, meaning don't give them a whole bunch of cards and like, you understand what I'm saying. No homemade greeting cards. No homemade greeting cards. You could put a picture in there. Make sure your picture is not that big. Do not send a 5x7. Stay between 4, 6, or 3, 5. I think 3, 5 is the other number. And then a little wallet size. Get those type of pictures, okay? And no copy of a picture. Send an actual picture on those, the picture paper, like this paper here. Picture paper is like the cardboard picture paper. Use that. And no stickers, no little stickers on the cards or anything like that. And do not send any self-addressed labels, none of those, okay? Everything has to be written, okay? I hope this helps because I don't want anyone sending me a message saying, Miss Sylvia, they returned my card because, I got a couple of you guys sending me things saying that it was returned. So this is not the first time. So just please follow those guidelines. Only white envelope, white paper, no glitter, no lipstick, crayon, marker, no perfume, no kind of odor or anything like that. No stain, no food. And if you want to send him books, magazine, or a Bible, let it come straight from the company, like the publishing house company or the magazine place. Even Amazon can send it because they have a guide. They know what the guideline is to sending something to a prison. So when you're sending it, they will know exactly how to send it because they know what the requirements are. Okay. I hope that helps. You did give me if it's possible. Can you put the address on there again? I'm gonna hold the address up again. I'm gonna hide my card. I still haven't mailed my card off today. But this is it right here. It's the card. And that's the address. It's Robert S. Kelly, right? REG number sign 09627 035 Metropolitan Correctional Center, 71 West Van Buren Street, Chicago, Illinois 60605. And make sure you put your return address just in case they have to mail you your item back because of something you did wrong. He didn't do it correctly. Try not to send anything oversized, nothing oversized. And anytime, anything like books and things like that, you would have to get, send it straight to the, company that does. I did find someone who recently got a letter back from Robert, and that person did a live on their Twitter. I'm gonna see if I can find it for you guys. They did a live on their Twitter. I'm just trying to waste some time for Miss Kayla to come in, because Kayla's the one that wanted me to go back down memory lane. Hope she shows up. Okay. Let's see if I can find it for you guys. I had it the other day. Let's see. I think Nakia sent it to me, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Was it R. Kelly Positive News that had it on their page? Let's see. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm trying to remember who it was. I had it yesterday. I should have showed it to you guys yesterday. If someone actually got a oh, there it is. I did find it. Okay. This is her sharing her her card with everybody. Let me just show it to you guys. Okay, here it is.
I have a message from Robert. Before we get started, I'm going to let you guys know this is all legit. I have legal documents stating that I have permission to write Robert. Robert is my brother in Christ. This is from the U.S. Department of Justice, from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Robert Kelly is in Unit 19F. This is Robert's registered number. He is housed in the Metropolitan Correctional Facility. This is the date that they sent this letter. This letter states that I have permission to write and to send Robert things. Robert Kelly, this is registered number. That's where he's housed at. That's me. That's Leslie. Okay? Everybody knows Robert loves to draw. So Robert sends me pictures, and he wants everybody to know that he loves you all and he misses you. Okay? This is right here. He says, tell everyone, thank you so much for this. So much. He says, I'm holding on. He said, just pray for me. He says, yes, I love my kids. I miss my kids. I love my fans. I miss my kids. I'm a so mad. He misses you guys. He just wants you guys to continue to pray for him. Robert draws angels. Everybody knows Robert loves good stuff. He can do good stuff. That's his signature. That's his cup of joy. These are his angels. And he always loves to say God is good all the time. All the time. God is good. So just to let you guys know, Robert is in good spirits. He loves everybody. He misses everybody. He loves his fans. He misses fans. So I want you guys to know to continue to keep Robert in prayer. Continue to keep up great comments. Robert will be home. He is coming home. My brother in Christ. And I'm going to tell him what's wrong. Pray for him. You're a human being. You're a Christian. We don't know. I don't judge. All the time. He is in his genius. Thank you so much, Robert, for allowing me to be able to be in your life and to write you and to encourage you and to pray with you.
Okay, y'all heard that, right? Did everybody hear it? Because I see Miss Margaret said she couldn't hear it. Did you hear that? Did everybody hear that? There was someone who actually received a letter back from Robert, and she shared it on her YouTube. She shared it on her YouTube. You didn't hear it? Okay. What is going on with my mic? Hold on a second. Hold on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 3, 4, 5. Y'all didn't hear it. Okay, I wonder why. Can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Let me see if I can put this mic back. Hold on a second. Can you hear me? You guys hear me now? Lottie, did you hear the what I was just playing? Did you hear what I was just playing? You did. Okay. So you hear me now? Or did you hear what I played? Say, put a 1 if you heard what I played. Put a 1 if you heard what I played. Put a 2 if you would like to hear me play it again. 2 if you want me to play it again. 1 if you heard it. Okay, Gucci wants me to play it again. Anybody else wants me to play it again? Okay, everybody wants me to play it again. Okay, I play it again. All right, this is a person who actually got a letter back from Robert. Hold on a second. This is a person who actually got a letter back from Robert, and I'm going to play it so you guys can hear it, okay? Let me just, hold on. Let me turn my phone off again. You know, my phone be acting up. Be acting really stupid. It be acting up like a baby. Okay, let me put it up, okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
Kelly fans, I have a message from Margaret. Before we get started, I want to let you guys know this is all legit. I have legal documents stating that
Are you hearing it now? Okay, you can hear. Okay, good. All right, here we go. I'm gonna play this. This is actually from someone who got a response back from Robert, who gets I don't know if this is the first letter, but they have a letter back from Robert. Okay. Hey, Dennis from California. How are you? All right. Thanks, Lottie. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on a second. People sending me messages, and it's making the volume go down. Hold on a second. Let me disable my stuff here, so people stop sending me messages and calling me and stuff. Hold on. Just bear with me a second. So it's some sort of distraction, right? All right. I just put it on Do Not Disturb, so anything coming through here won't get through. All right, you ready? Gonna start it from the beginning again. Start it from the beginning. Okay. You ready, guys? Okay, here we go. This is a letter from someone who actually received a letter back from Robert. Okay, and she went on her social media and posted it, and she wanted you guys to hear what Robert had to say to you guys. Okay. Kayla is just somebody who's in my chat who Oh, you want me to repeat what it said? Okay, I'll repeat it. I'll stop it and repeat it what she's saying. Okay, that'll help. Okay, all right, here we go.
I have a message from Margaret. Before we get started, I want to let you guys know this is all legit.
Okay, she said she has a message from Robert, and she wants, before she gets started, she wants to let you guys know it's all legit. That's what she said. And she's showing her letter.
I have legal documents stating that I have permission to write Margaret. Margaret is my brother. documents.
She has legal document to say that she has permission to write Robert, because Robert is her brother in Christ.
This is from the U.S. Department of Justice. Robert Kelly. He's in Unit 19.
Okay, she's basically saying this. The letters from the U.S. Bureau of Prison, and I got this, Phoenix. I got this from someone's Twitter. I'll tell you in a minute as soon as I get through this, because I'm not looking at the person's Twitter right now, so I'll get to it. I'm just looking at the person's video.
This is Robert's registered number. He is now in the Metropolitan Facility. This is the date that they sent this letter.
Okay, she's also giving you the floor and the date and things like that they send the letter back. She gave the that he's on Unit 19F, and the his number, registration number she's about to give, and also giving you the date that she actually they send the letter to her, the date they send it to her.
This letter states that I have permission to write and to send things. Robert Kelly, this is registered number. That's where he's housed at. That's me. That's Leslie. Okay.
And she just told her name.
Robert loves to draw. So Robert sends me pictures, and he wants everybody to know that he loves you all and he misses you. Okay. This right here, he says, tell everybody, thank you so much for the support. So much. He says, I'm grateful. He said, just pray for me. He says, yes, I love my kids. I miss my kids. I love my fans. I miss my fans. I'm so mad at that. He misses you guys. He just wants you guys to continue to pray for him. Robert draws angels. Everybody knows Robert loves that stuff. He can do this stuff. That's his signature. That's his comfort joy. These are his angels. And he always loves to say God is good all the time. All the time. God is good. So just to let you guys know, Robert is in good spirits. He loves everybody. He misses everybody. He loves his fans. He misses fans. So I want you guys to know to continue to keep Robert in prayer. Continue to keep up great comments. Robert will be home. He is coming home. It's my brother in Christ. And I'm going to ride to the wheels from home. Pray for him. We're human beings. And we're Christians. I don't judge. Sometimes. I will talk about it. He is a beautiful genius. Thank you so much, Robert, for allowing me to be able to be in your life and to write you and to encourage you and to pray with you. My brother, thank you.
Okay, so she basically said that Robert to tell you guys that he misses you guys, and that he loves you guys, and he loves his children, and that's basically what she's saying. That he's in good spirit. This is what she said. That he said. Okay, so that was just a tidbit of information, so you guys can oh. Phoenix, you said you asked me who the thing is coming from. The person's Twitter is R Kelly Positive PR. R. Kelly Positive PR. That's the name of the person's Twitter. Okay, and I guess they have an @ name too. @ ORZESZEK86. Okay, so and that on the date is 2 days ago. It says 2 days ago, and it says a letter from R. Kelly thanking his fan. I think is real. That's what they have on it. Okay, all right. So that is that. Now we're going to go back to our topic. Our topic is Mr. Avenatti. We're going down memory lane to bring up some things that in the past. Okay, guys, do y'all remember around January, right after the Surviving R. Kelly, because Surviving R. Kelly came out I think the 3rd of January or the first or the third, something like that. And right after surviving R. Kelly, this attorney came out, and this attorney started talking so much crap about Mr. Kelly. This attorney had this big vendetta against Mr. Kelly. Okay. This attorney name is Michael Avenatti. Michael Avenatti, as you guys can remember, he was the attorney that was representing Stormy Daniel, who was fighting with President Trump. And, okay, so that's how he got his fame, because he was going up against Donald Trump, President Trump. So he became a big fixture on news after his whole episode with President Trump at the time. Then lo and behold, his case went sour, as I can recall. They ended up losing against Trump, and so he ended up, Stormy Daniel ended up having to pay, I think, Trump, right? Yes, Felix. He said 90% is bull BS and 10% is truth. Yes, he just said that. But anyway, he decided to jump on the bandwagon of Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. This is prior to the case. He met up with the state prosecutor, Kim Fox. And in recent, like about a year ago, it was more display about the email exchanges between him and somebody from her staff, and how they met at the airport, not at her office, but at the airport on the side. And I guess he had some damaging information to provide to her. Okay. The information, I'm assuming, because right before he met with her, he went on the news, and he started. No. He went on the news after he met with her, because we found out he met with her afterwards. But he provided videotapes, right? Okay. He provided videotapes to the state prosecutor, right? Okay. At the time when he was on the news, he mentioned one videotape, okay? And by the time he went to other news station, it ended up being 2 videotapes, too. And then the last part, he said he had one more videotape, which would have been a total of 3 videotapes that he had in his possession. Okay? All right. Now, Mr. Avenatti, as you guys know, he's now a convicted felon. Okay. He had some issues with him trying to extort Nike. He had a client who was a quadriplegic who he swindled some money from him. Then he also had Stormy Daniel case. Then he has some cases where abuse with his ex-wife. He's been married twice, but ex-wife, where he's physically abusing her and things like that. Now, what I'm going to do is place for you guys some memory things that you guys could recall what he was saying about Robert. The first recording I'm going to play is when he actually decided to have a news conference, right? Wait, let's back it up first. Let's back it up. We're going to back it up to where he went to CNN, and he spoke to this lady who actually viewed the videotape, right? Now, guys, remember, there's supposed to be child pornography, but CNN videotape. Okay, where he videotaped, not videotaped, that they viewed the tape. Okay, so we're gonna play that for you, and then I'm gonna discuss some things with you. Okay. All right, here we go.
First off, I want to say, warning, this is a very graphic conversation. And if you want to see the video on this.
Let me go back. Hold on. I'm going straight to CNN. It says very graphic, y'all. This is very graphic, y'all.
We are following breaking news about R&B singer R. Kelly. Attorney Michael Avenatti says he has a videotape allegedly showing Kelly engaging in graphic sex with an underage girl. Now, Avenatti claims this is a different VHS tape than the one used in another criminal case against the star in 2002. And this newly surfaced tape has been handed over to prosecutors in Kelly's hometown of Chicago. This is in addition to an investigation already underway following an explosive Lifetime documentary that featured multiple interviews with women who say they were sexually abused by Kelly, some when they were in their teens. CNN has viewed this tape in question, and CNN's Sarah Sider is following this.
Okay, did you hear this? CNN, Sarah Sider is the one who actually viewed. Okay, what's going on with my screen? Okay, guys, can you hear me? Because I just got a message. Kayla, I've been looking for you. All right, did you guys, okay, good. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so Sarah Saylor is the person that actually viewed the tape that Avenatti showed. Okay, so I sound noisy. Why is Gucci acting up? Okay, all right. So Sarah Saylor at CNN viewed the video. Okay, guys, we're gonna break it down. Okay, she viewed the video. Hey, Kim.
For us in Los Angeles, also here with us is CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson. Sarah, first, what do we know? How did Avenatti get this alleged tape?
It's not something that I know, and it's not something that he is certainly revealing at this point in time. But
okay, so the CNN anchor lady asked, how did Avenatti get this tape? The person, Sarah Saylor, replied that that's something that she doesn't know and he hasn't revealed it to anybody. So, guys, that should bring some suspicion. Okay, you got a guy who's a convicted felon, because at the time he wasn't a convicted felon, but now that he is a convicted felon, he is the one that provided evidence to the state prosecutor. All right, here we go.
I think what is important about this story is that if everything that I have seen on this tape is accurate, and everything that I have heard on this tape is an accurate depiction, this could be potential evidence in a new case against R. Kelly. Now, we've spoken to sources on this story, and I have also viewed the tape, and I can tell you that the video is graphic. It is.
You heard her. She has also viewed this tape. She said the video is graphic. So now they are in possession of child pornography, supposedly child pornography, right, y'all? So they viewed this, okay?
It's clear.
Oh, I wanted to say too, okay, they viewed this tape, but when I went to court, the prosecutor refused to give it to Robert's defense attorney who's working on this case because they say it's child pornography and they don't want to bring it out. So how is it that CNN can view the tape, watch the tape, and no charges are brought against them? Hey, Gaiman, how is that possible? Guys, this chat, it should be adult only. So if anybody's in here under age 18, please log out. Okay? All right. So Avenatti gives the tape to CNN after he has already given it to the state prosecutor. So why are you giving the tape to CNN when the state prosecutor has the tape already? So there's no reason for you to give it to the news people. And there's no reason for other people to get the tape. Right? Yeah, she watched the tape. She said she watched the tape, and it was very graphic. That's what she said, Elizabeth. She watched the tape. Bye-bye, gaming. So she watched the tape. Okay? Somebody put a mention about no age, underage. Okay.
In a well-lit room, there are two scenes to this tape. One is in what appears to be a living room, which is very bright and well-lit, and the other is in a bedroom, which is...
Okay, you notice how she keeps emphasizing that the rooms were well-lit. She said one part is in the living room, and then she said the other part is in the bedroom. It was well-lit. So she's able to identify the people in the tape. So that's what she's basically saying. It was well lit. So she has the opportunity to view this tape. Right? And she says it's in a well lit living room and bedroom. So they received the tape from Michael Avenatti, who is a convicted felon. A convicted felon. Convicted felon. Okay? Remember that. A convicted felon provided the tape to not only CNN, the news people, but also to the state prosecutor. Guys, don't you think the evidence that's presented from this person who is a convicted felon should be thrown out, and Robert's attorney should request those things to be thrown out? What do you think? He wasn't a convicted felon, but now that they have conviction of 3 counts, he got 3 counts of extortion, and he also got fraudulent. So if you can lie, extort, and do fraudulent thing, what makes you think that the tape that you have was not a form of an extortion to Robert Sylvester Kelly at the time? And he did not go with it. So what you did, you went to the news. Like, remember how he threatened that he was going to do that to Nike? He said he was going to make it public if Nike did not succumb to what the demands that he was asking for. So it sounds like the same thing with Robert Sylvester Kelly. Because remember, I'm going to play some more stuff. He was the lawyer for one of the parents. Well, two. We'll play this. Okay. All right, we're going to play. You know what? I'm not going to continue to play this because you guys got the logistic of it. All right. Okay. I don't need to hear what graphic things that she has seen on the tape. You guys get the logistic and the understanding of what she saw. She saw it in a lit room. Everything was for everyone to be able to see, and it's been provided by somebody who's a convicted felon. Okay. Is it okay that I don't continue this recording? Do you think I should continue, or you guys got it? You guys understand it? Yeah, they should have thrown this out because once he got convicted as a convicted felon, because he's saying it on the thing, he's the one who provided 3 tapes, supposedly 3 tapes, y'all. I'm gonna play the some stuff so you can hear what he says. So this is the first tape that he claimed to have had, and he gave it to the state prosecutor. He's the one who provided that information to the state prosecutor. So the state prosecutor has a tape from a person who's a convicted felon. And a person who says that he's done certain things, that 90% of what he says is BS and 10% is true. Right? Okay. So we're going to bypass that one. So do you guys want to continue hearing this tape? Let me know. We have about 5 more minutes of this. Do you want to hear it? Let's play it, just in case somebody's listening that needs to listen to this commentary. Okay? This is directly from CNN themselves. No, you don't. Okay, you don't want to hear. Okay. All right. Nakia says no. But the logistic behind all of this is that Avenatti is the one who handed over the tape to not only CNN but the state prosecutor. And you know, he has been convicted. He is a federal felon. He's convicted. Okay, so that's part. All right, let's go back. Let's go to my other recordings of Mr. Avenatti. I have quite a few recordings, guys, that I screen record for you guys to hear some of the facts behind this. Now, we're going to listen to Mr. Avenatti. He says in one of these recordings that he was representing 6 to 7 individuals. That is part of Robert's case. 6 to 7 individuals. Okay? All right, let's go. Let's do this. Okay. I have so many recordings, and I'm not too sure which one is this one. I'm just going to play all of them. You guys just listen, okay? Listen carefully to what's being played, okay? And this one's 10 seconds. Okay, no, not that one. Sorry. Okay, I think I'm going to play this one, okay? There's 1 minute and 55 seconds. Hold on, just bear with me. How's everyone doing today, this morning, this afternoon? Okay, here we go.
High-flying attorney Michael Avenatti.
He literally just exploded on the scene.
Joining us now is Michael Avenatti, a lawyer representing Stormy Daniels.
Avenatti gained fame waging a lurid legal battle against Donald Trump on behalf of an adult film star.
The agreement was illegal from the get-go. It was all a ruse designed to shut my client up. He was a fighter. He commanded the screen. He was fantastic TV.
Your friend is thank you. Avenatti even considers a run for the White House himself to replace the president he called fraud.
With our country under an unprecedented assault by a con man,
He became this overnight sensation, a liberal folk hero.
But the facts say this hero is no stranger to shady behavior. Prosecutors allege he stole millions from a paraplegic client.
I am appalled by the conduct of Mr. Avenatti.
They accuse him of fleecing Stormy Daniels.
He needs fame. He needs money. One begets the other.
One of the president's most vocal critics faces new troubles tonight. And as Avenatti runs toward the camera, the feds planned one of their own and captured a criminal shakedown of the world's biggest shoe company. American Greed has that tape.
A few $1 million doesn't move the needle for me. Where does zealous advocacy stop, and where does criminality begin?
It stops and it begins when you try to force someone to hire you.
I'm not around with this.
What man would risk the profession that puts shoes on the feet of his children?
And I'm not continuing to play games.
Well, his name is Michael Avenatti.
Okay, that's the first recording of Mr. Avenatti. There we go.
Through multiple means, had paid the young victim and her family over $2
million not to testify and come forward in connection with the 2008 trial. So to those R. Kelly fans who want to talk about the 2008 trial and the fact that he was acquitted, it was bogus. R. Kelly bought his acquittal. He bought this victim and their parents and ensured that the truth was never told to that jury in 2008. R. Kelly and those around him obstructed justice in connection with the 2008 trial. Those are some of the charges that he now faces. And I am highly confident that when all the evidence is heard, that he will be convicted along with others around him of obstructing justice in connection with the 2008 trial.
Okay, that was his spiel. Okay, let's see if this is enough.
About the criminal cases against singer R. Kelly.
WGN's Megan Dwyer has been following this case and is joining us now with more on what happened. Yeah, Lourdes and Ben. Supposedly, R. Kelly was so desperate to cover his tracks, he paid people to find these sex tapes and destroy them. But today we learned some of these whistleblowers actually made copies of those tapes. We are also hearing more details about how much money Kelly paid out to victims and their families to allegedly keep them quiet.
I'd be.
Hold on a second, yeah. This is all coming from Avenatti, guys. Hold on.
Them. But today we learned some of these whistleblowers actually made copies of those tapes. We are also hearing more details about how much money Kelly paid out to victims and their families to allegedly keep them quiet.
So I just want to bring up to you, okay, the narrative that was brought up about Mr. Kelly paying off $2 million to someone from a 2008 case originally started from Mr. Avenatti. Michael Avenatti is the one who spewed that fake news to the media to gain people to start believing, because he had the platform. He had the national news standing with him to spread these false narratives. Because that's what he said, that Robert paid $2 million, right? And he said he was highly confident, This is before he had his own legal troubles. So, sometimes when you try to dig a ditch for someone to fall in, he forgot to dig a ditch for himself, because he ended up falling in that same ditch that he did for Robert. Okay. I just wanted to point that out to you. Exactly, Elisa. Her attorney said that's not true. I know. He said that. Okay, here we go.
I'd be very, very surprised if Mr. Kelly ever sees the light of day again outside of federal custody at this point in his life.
Today, Michael Avenatti held court at the Four Seasons in Chicago.
The videotapes don't lie. Dozens of witnesses don't lie. These whistleblowers don't lie.
He says he gave Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox the first of 2 new sex tapes back in February, and she turned that tape over to federal authorities.
It was all about money. Numerous adults, men and women, turned a blind eye to sexual assault of young girls because they didn't want the gravy train known as R. Kelly.
Okay, remember who's talking, guys. A convicted felon is talking, okay? A convicted felon who's known for giving false statements, who's known for exploiting people, who's known for extortion, who's known for wire fraudulent, wire transferred, who's known for doing things that are illegal. This is who's talking, okay? Just remember that. I had to pause it just in case you guys thinking that this is somebody who's credible. This man is not credible. So remember, he started with 1 tape. Then he decided it's 2 tapes. Then all of a sudden it's 3 tapes. So if the state's attorney has 3 tapes that has been provided from a federal convicted felon, Don't you think there's something wrong with this case? Okay, here we go.
To end.
Well, the two new tapes purportedly show Kelly having graphic sex with a 14-year-old girl. There are also new victims and girls who were not part of his trial back in 2008.
So even though the one is the same girl, it's not double jeopardy. There's other minors involved. There are new tapes. It is not all old news.
Okay, you heard him. There are new tapes, so he gathered up some new people, huh? He gathered up some new people because he wanted that gravy train. He wanted to be part of the dollar. Ching, ching. He wanted some of that money, y'all. He wanted to be like Gloria. They all gang together. They're like an ambulance chaser, you know? But the ambulance chases towards people who are of power, who have money, men who they want to bring down. So, Mr. Avenatti, the ambulance chaser. Here we go.
Kelly was arrested last week for allegedly paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to recover child sex tapes that went missing from his stash. New court documents unsealed last week in Chicago suggest Kelly pressured witnesses to change their stories before his pornography trial a decade ago. And now in New York, he faces unprecedented racketeering charges normally reserved for drug dealers and mobsters.
They charge him in New York with enticing people and encouraging people to have sex with them.
Who's speaking right now is Robert's attorney, Steve Greenberg. That's him talking on the press conference. So that's who's talking right now, is Greenberg. Okay.
I don't think people accidentally have sex, so I'm not really sure what the criminal activity is there.
Kelly's attorney told WGN Morning News he's hopeful the singer will be released from jail tomorrow.
It's obviously not a flight risk. Everyone's known these charges are coming, and he hasn't fled.
While 10 girls are mentioned in the recent indictments, Avenatti says there are at least 14 victims.
Okay.
Girls from rough neighborhoods.
Okay, so they said it's 10 girls in the current indictment. This is as of the Chicago one, Chicago State. So they would say it was 10, and then he said there was 14. But for some strange reason, he likes that number 14. You know, he likes 14. Anyway, let's go.
That's in Chicago who were easily preyed upon for the last 3 years.
To those R. Kelly fans who want to talk about the 2008 trial and the fact that he was acquitted, it was bogus. R. Kelly bought his acquittal.
Today, Avenatti.
Okay, that's that tape. That's that recording. And we got another one, guys. I told you I got enough stuff for you guys to listen to. I came prepared. I came prepared to let you guys hear this stuff. All right, here we go. I think this one here.
And outright falsehoods made
Okay, now this is here him debating with Steve at the time, and they having a little back and forth here. Okay. Steve had made a statement, so now he's trying to debunk Steve's statement.
Mr. Steve Greenberg. It appears to be amateur hour here in Cook County. First of all, Mr. Greenberg's personal attacks on me and my clients, he's called all of the women victims liars, are outrageous and completely unprofessional. Mr. Greenberg also seems to not recognize what double jeopardy really is. None of the counts against Mr. Kelly involve double jeopardy. He also falsely suggested in court this morning, as he did last night and previously, that the videotape that we provided is the same videotape depicting the same criminal acts at issue in the 2008 trial. That is an outright lie. Mr. Greenberg knows that the tape at issue does not involve the same acts at issue in the 2008 trial. As I referenced yesterday, that tape, which we provided earlier this month, includes 2 scenes shot on 2 separate days at Mr. Kelly's home. It does not include
So, guys, how did he know the scenes was shot 2 separate days? Because according to the record, you know, when CNN supposedly played it, she said that they didn't know the date that that the tapes were made. So how do Avenatti knows it was 2 separate days? How do he know it was 2 separate days, guys? This is something to get you thinking.
Same footage at issue in the 2008 trial. The basic law of double jeopardy does not prevent Mr. Kelly from being charged for other acts separate and apart from those with which he was charged with in 2008. Any basic criminal defense lawyer and even many non-lawyers understand that concept. Mr. Greenberg's client is in a fight for his life. Mr. Greenberg needs to pull his head out of his ass and start defending his client as opposed to making personal attacks on me and the victims in this case. If he continues to antagonize me and the victims in this case, Mr. Kelly is even in more trouble than he already is, and he is already in an insurmountable amount of trouble. I'm going to take questions.
Okay.
Well, it's a very emotional moment for them. I firmly believe that their daughter has been brainwashed by Mr. Kelly. I think it's disgraceful. When Mr. Kelly came here today, had his enablers and his handlers come here today with an eye towards keeping their daughter from them, from communicating with them as they attempted to communicate with her in the courtroom. They moved the daughter away from them and shielded her from her own parents. It's an absolute disgrace. They brought those 2 young ladies here today for the cameras. They brought them here in an effort to send the message that all is well with Robert Kelly and there's nothing untoward about his conduct. It's an absolute disgrace, and it's a disgusting display what we witnessed here today. These young ladies should be permitted to speak with their parents, period. Well, obviously the tape exists. I mean, we heard about it in court. I've been talking about the tape for some time. I don't traffic in nonsense and innuendo. If I say something, you can take it to the bank. And I've been talking about this tape.
Ooh, did you just hear what he say, y'all? If he says something, you can take it to the bank. Doesn't that sound like extortion? If he says something, you can take it to the bank. Isn't that something he told Nike? Basically, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm taking it to the media. So he's taking it to the bank. All right, here we go.
For some time, it clearly exists. We turned it over, and it depicts exactly what I said it depicted yesterday in detail. There's also a scene on the tape during which Mr. Kelly engages in choking the 14-year-old victim, as well as other simulated sexual acts, which I'm not going to get into the detail of because they're so abhorrent. Well, obviously, we wish the bond would have been much higher, or there would have been no bond. I'm not surprised by the result, but I will say this. If Mr. Kelly and his enablers and his handlers engage in the obstruction of justice and witness tampering that they did back in 2008, and if we catch wind of it, we're going to bring it to the attention of the state attorney. Is withdrawn and he's taken back into custody for the duration of the matter.
Here come the witness intimidation crap.
No, it's not that I perceive that that's what happened the last time. I know for a fact that that's what happened the last time. There's no question about it. It was rampant witness intimidation, obstruction of justice,
sound like something that's already premeditated, y'all. Tampering witness. Premeditated, so people who just recently got arrested to try to put them as part of this enabler stuff, you know, tampering with witnesses, which we know those two cases are totally, he has nothing to do with those two cases. But they had this stuff rolling, you know? It was rolling. Woo! This is a great movie, y'all. Great movie. Bad actors. Great movie.
That is a significant concern that I have in connection with this case, that my clients have in connection with the case. And we're going to do everything in our power to guard against it, to make sure that 2019 is not a repeat of 2008 and the trial in these very serious. I don't think it's possible to retry that case, but I think that it is possible that there may be obstruction of justice charges ultimately brought against Mr. Kelly for certain of his enablers, handlers, managers, attorneys, and the like. He was not able to accomplish this on his own. He had a lot of people that assisted him, and they did so for one reason, and it's a disgusting reason. It was all done in the interest of money, to make sure that the golden goose was not killed, and effectively that each of these people, these managers, agents, attorneys, and others, continued to get their payday while they looked the other way, while this predator molested and sexually abused underage girls. It's absolutely disgusting to do that, let alone in the interest of money.
Okay, now remember that. Who's speaking now? This is a convicted felon who is before the press giving his account of something that he has done. This is a convicted felon, okay? We can't forget about that. He's a convicted felon giving his account, okay? All right, now here's another recording of the convicted felon. Now, I think he's going to talk about the people he's representing. Hold on.
This morning, I saw you on the news talking about a third tape.
Oh, guys,
Can you tell us?
there you go. Oh, wait. We went from one tape, two tape. Now he's talking about a third tape. The convicted felon has all three tapes. All three tapes, supposedly, this convicted felon has. And why isn't anybody asking this stuff to be thrown out? The convicted felon has three tapes that he provided to the state prosecutor. And also for the federal case too, y'all. Okay. Convicted felon. Remember, convicted felon. Convicted felon. Convicted felon.
Than what we saw in 2008 with the trial against R. Kelly.
Well, I think it's going to be different on a number of different grounds.
You know why it's different, y'all? Let me tell you the reason why it's different, because they got Avenatti's part of it. That's why his case is different. He got friends in places that where he gonna give him a little couple of change to set this whole thing up. Exactly. Oh, thank you. Diggamy just put in here that she said the court documents state there is only one and trying to locate the other two. So, who has the other two tapes? Avenatti said he has the third one. Did he not just say that, y'all? Avenatti said he has all three tapes. Did he not say that? He gave them to Kim Fox, that is. Y'all, don't y'all smell a rat? A setup. I don't care what nobody said. I don't care what nobody said. If you believe this person is so guilty, why do you try to entrap him by putting more stuff on him? If you believe it, your case should be a slam dunk. If you believe your case is so good, why do you need all this extra stuff? Okay, that's my question. Convicted felon. Okay, here we go.
Number of different reasons. First of all, you're going to have actual victims that I think are going to testify in the trial against R. Kelly. Girls who are going to come forward, young ladies that are going to come forward and talk about the assault and the abuse that they suffered at the hands of R. Kelly time and time again. That's going to be a significant difference. I think the quality of the videotapes that we've now provided is for.
Okay, the quality of a tape that was made in almost 30 years ago, the quality is supposed to be so great now. The quality of that tape is supposed to be so great. Of a VHS tape is supposed to be so great. The quality of a tape, a VHS tape. None of my VHS tape quality is great because by the years and time like that, it's kind of like it sucks. Who has a VHS in their house right now? Anybody? I don't. Who would still have one to even watch? I changed all my VHS movies that I want to keep. I changed them to a DVD. That's what I did with mine. Okay, there we go. Lottie, you have one? Seriously? Wow, Lottie. Wow, Lottie. Mike, Timothy said, Miss Sylvia, are you referring to our line, Junior and Michael? No, I'm just referring to Michael Avenatti. Lottie, not me, LOL. Okay. Throw it away years. I threw mine away years ago too because it didn't make sense. None of that stuff worked. Okay, here we go.
Provided is far superior to what existed back in connection with the trial.
Wait a minute. How is the quality more superior than what was presented back in 2008? I would think 2008 quality would have been better because the years has not caused it more erosion. How when things get old, they start to tell like you have shoes, a pair of shoes that's really old, and you see how it's like crumbling up. Same thing with tape. It happens because age and stuff, start making things decay a little bit. So how is it the quality that was done 2008 better than what's happening? Okay, 2008 is almost 16 years later? And you saying that quality is better than what was in 2008? Well, don't ask me. You're digging me because I don't have one.
2008.
And I want to separate them. These tapes are different than the tape that was used
Completely different.
And what year were these tapes taken?
They were taken in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, you said late 90s, early 2000s. How do you know that? How do you know? But you don't know. You can't give a specific date. Why doesn't it have a specific date on it? Late 90s, early 2000s. That's a long stretch. You're not giving a real date. Thank you, Audrey. Okay, let me put what Audrey says. It's called remastered. And that will be done by the film industry work. Yep. That's how the quality would be so good, because the quality at home is not going to be that good. Nope. Not at all. Okay, here we go.
So the time frame is around the same. They are entirely different tapes. This is not the tape that was at issue in the earlier trial. It's entirely different. Okay? So now that these tapes are going to be presented, one of the problems in the earlier trial, at least for the prosecution, was that the witness in the tape did not want to cooperate. These witnesses and this witness in this tape that you presented, or maybe the two tapes you presented,
will cooperate?
Well, I'm not in a position to talk about specific witnesses, whether they're going to cooperate or not. But what I am going to tell you is this. The prosecutors don't need the witness in this tape, in my opinion, to cooperate because the tape is so clear and it's concise as to a number of things. Number one, that it's R. Kelly. There's no question that it's R. Kelly in these tapes. No question whatsoever. Number two, there's no question as to the identity of the victim in the tapes. Clear as day. Number three, repeatedly on the tapes, R. Kelly and the victim refer to her as only being 14 years old.
Can I ask you a question? Don't people do role play when they're doing some sort of intimacy act? I want to say it. Don't they role play? Don't people role play sometimes? And why is it their emphasis that person saying that their ages? So you can role play and act like you're a teenager, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a teenager. Okay, there we go.
Age. In fact, it appears that Mr. Kelly, this is a fetish that he has, that he likes to hear while he's engaged in these sexual assaults, that these girls are underage, based on the content of the tape. So this is a bombshell piece of evidence that we turned over a few weeks ago. I think the tape today is another bombshell piece of evidence. And finally, after 28 years of sexually abusing and assaulting young girls, some of whom are from the most vulnerable of our society, lower socioeconomic status and the like, finally, I think justice is going to be done in this case. I believe there's no question that R. Kelly's going to be convicted. And I believe there's no question that he's going to serve out the rest of his life in prison, which is where he's belonged now for some time.
You represent two of the alleged victims. Why did these victims choose to come forward now?
Well, I mean, I think that they've been trying to get their voices heard for a long period of time. I mean, I represent 6-7 individuals now, not just victims.
Oh, did you hear him? They said you represent 2 alleged victims, right? And then he turned around and says he represents 6 to 7 individuals. Not only the alleged victims, but other individuals. Cha-ching! He wants to grease his pocket. Okay, hold on.
Whistleblowers as well as some parents. And I think that you're about to see a tidal wave of additional victims and witnesses come forward. And I also believe that in a very short period of time, it's going to be like rats leaving a sinking ship. I think the people that are very close to R. Kelly that have enabled this conduct, and there's a lot of them. He did not carry this out on his own across 28 years. He had attorneys and managers and agents and a whole bunch of other people helping him cover this up, book flights for these girls, put them in hotels, keep them under wraps. This is not something that he did on his own. And I think a lot of these people are going to begin abandoning him because they're going to be looking to save their own butts.
And we should say that R. Kelly pleaded not guilty in court today, and his attorney, Steve Greenberg, has attacked your credibility. He's attacked your evidence. He says you are showboating. What do you say to that?
Well, let me tell you something. R. Kelly needs a better attorney than Mr. Greenberg. Mr. Greenberg doesn't know the basics of criminal law based on what I've seen thus far. He's made claims about double jeopardy. He's made all kinds of claims. He's more interested in attacking me than defending his client. I mean, he really better get focused in a big hurry because his client's in a lot of trouble.
You represent Andrea Clary. That is one of the alleged victims here. And now, what's interesting is she.
Okay, here's this. Here's the thing here, y'all. The paperwork, the document, the indictment never give any names of individuals, alleged victims, right? So why is the news people giving out the name of the alleged victim? Why is the news people, answer the question. This is pop quiz, guys. Why is the news person giving the name of the alleged victim when the court at the time did not give out any name? Not in the New York case. New York case has been hush hush who's on who's the alleged victim. I don't know if the clients paid him. I don't know. He didn't mention anything about the money. Okay, here we go. Let's continue, my darlings. Okay.
She remembers her father. Her father. Now, but is she at this point? Is she going to cooperate? Well, we don't know. I mean, she's still with R. Kelly. Again, I'm representing her parents. You know, a lot of these girls that were with him have been coerced. They've been brainwashed. R. Kelly has taken steps to.
Can I interrupt you right now and ask you, as a representative of her father, you're representing her father, what has her father said about introducing and facilitating that initial relationship with R. Kelly? Because we all saw it.
Did you hear what she said? What is the father saying now? Since he's the one who introduced, who facilitated that introduction. Did y'all hear the word? Who introduced, facilitated the introduction. Meaning that he is the one who introduced his daughter to Mr. Kelly. All right. Okay, let's continue, guys.
The documentary, it all came out. He was very open. But what message is he now saying? Because there's a lot of people that say, I would never even bring my daughter anywhere close to R. Kelly.
Well, but let me address that because this is a really important point. First of all, there's a lot of things that were not included in the documentary about it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you have to understand that Mr. Kelly had a lot of people around him that reassured parents about allowing their kids to be around R. Kelly, that he was on the up and up, that he was legitimately interested in assisting them in their musical careers, that there was nothing untoward or improper going on, that they were going to be supervised at all times, that other adults were going to be around, that R. Kelly was never going to be alone with these girls. So a lot of these parents, not just Mr. Clary, but others, were reassured that he had their best interest at heart, and he violated that trust time and time again. This is not a situation where parents were pimping out their kids to R. Kelly. And any suggestion.
No, he said the word, didn't he say it? He said pimping. He just said that. That word came from Mr. Let me repeat that word again for those people in the back who didn't hear it. Okay, let's play this again. Mr. Avenatti said the word pimping. There we go.
Is outrageous.
But you do understand how some people would come to that conclusion, considering he had already been on trial once and acquitted. But
I can understand that, but here's what I'm going to focus on.
Hold on, guys. I gotta go back a little bit.
Time again. This is not a situation where parents were pimping out their kids to R. Kelly. And any suggestion of that by Mr. Greenberg or otherwise is outrageous.
But you do understand how some people would come to that conclusion, considering he had already been on trial once and acquitted. But
I can understand that, but here's what I'm going to focus on. You're talking about 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. Those girls cannot consent to have sex with anyone, let alone somebody that's 30 years older than them, as in R. Kelly. They can't consent by law. So it's not enough to say, oh, well, their parents put them in harm's way, or, oh, they deserved it, or they appeared to like it, or they were trying to further their careers. A 14-year-old girl cannot consent to have sex with a man 30 years older than she is.
Fair enough. I want to think about something you just said a few minutes ago, too, about what you're calling the enablers, people around him who are allowing this, according to you, to happen.
Are you saying that those people are in legal jeopardy? Oh, I believe in many cases they can be and should be and will be in legal jeopardy. You can't turn a blind eye to sexual assault and battery by a man against an underage girl just in the interest of money. And that's exactly what happened here. These individuals turned a blind eye. They didn't blow the whistle. They didn't do the right thing because they didn't want the gravy train known as R. Kelly to end. It was all done in the interest of money, and it's outrageous. And every parent in America should be disgusted by it.
what charges could they face?
Well,
what could you bring them in the court?
They can face aiding and abetting charges. They can face obstruction of justice. There's a host of charges they can face.
Okay. You're very good at teasing us. You're in the media a lot. What's next?
Well, I think this is going to be a lengthy process.
How about guilty on all counts? All right, 3 counts here, guilty. This just being confirmed to us right now. Michael Avenatti, the disgraced lawyer that used to represent Stormy Daniels in her cases against then President Trump,
is found guilty in New York for the extortion trial here. 3 counts of extortion. Now,
sound like a familiar number, right? 3 counts for 3 tapes, huh?
Of trying to blackmail or shake Nike down for about $25 million in an effort trying to get them to settle a case in which he said if they did not, that he would shave $1.4 billion off their market cap. And this was a case closely followed, not just because of Avenatti himself as a personality, but because it affected a Dow component and the biggest athletic apparel maker out there in the world, Nike. So again, we'll follow this story as it develops here. But again, 3 counts in the extortion trial, all guilty. We'll send things back over to you, Tyler.
Okay, that's his 3 counts of guilty that he had, y'all. How's that? Hold on.
CBS News, he is nervous and scared about the possibility of going to prison, but denies he did anything wrong. Avenatti is charged in New York with attempting to extort tens of billions of dollars from Nike. He is also charged with bank and wire fraud in California.
Bank and wire fraud.
In an interview you will see only on CBS this morning. Tarika, good morning.
Good morning. He wanted to get his side out. Now, if convicted, in both cases, Michael Avenatti could face up to nearly 100 years in prison. So we sat down with him less than a day after he was released on $300,000 bond. He maintains his innocence and told us he believes he'll be exonerated.
Not.
They're saying that you committed extortion, that you committed wire fraud and bank fraud in California. Did you try to extort Nike for millions of dollars?
No, and any suggestion is absolutely absurd. Nike knew from the very first moment that I had any contact with Nike that I was insisting that the truth about what Nike had done be disclosed to federal prosecutors and investigators.
What is the truth?
The truth is, for years, Nike and its executives have been funneling payments to amateur players, high school players, and to their handlers and family members in an effort to get them to go to colleges that were Nike colleges and ultimately, hopefully, to the NBA so they could sign a shoe deal with Nike.
But federal prosecutors maintain a different version of the truth.
Avenatti was not acting as an attorney. A suit and tie doesn't mask the fact that, at its core, this was an old-fashioned shakedown.
They allege Michael Avenatti attempted to use his platform to blackmail the apparel giant.
The complaint does suggest that you asked for up to $20 million, 1.5 for your client, and at least $20 million, and that you requested you be
Hey,
retained
Stoker.
to do an internal investigation, and that if not you and they hire someone else, you stand to make more money.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the specifics of this, but what I will say is the way this has been framed is not accurate. It's just not accurate. And in fact, from the very first moment that we had any meeting with Michael,
Don't that sound familiar, y'all? He's the one framed the thing for Robert, and then now he's claiming the way things are framed for him is not accurate. See, the same measure that you give to somebody, you better expect it to be happened to you. Because remember, he was gung-ho about how blank this was happening, and this is for sure, this is going to... See? Watch it. Watch what you do. The same measure that you put out for that man is what you're getting back. You call this upon yourself.
we made it clear that under no circumstances would we participate in anything that did not require full disclosure to investigators and the federal government.
What about the case in California? You've been charged with wire fraud, bank fraud. There were comments, in that complaint saying that you tried to embezzle, or you did embezzle, $1.6 million from a client you represented.
The client who is accusing me of embezzlement is currently on felony probation in California.
Here's the deal. You see what he tried to do? He tried to extort somebody who was a crook themselves. So he figured, let me take the money from the crook since he's a crook, so he's not gonna come back and tell on me. So I'm only stealing from a thief.
You know what he was convicted of? counts of obtaining money under false pretenses. It turns out, and I didn't know this at the time, that he has an extensive criminal background and rap sheet associated with his conduct. So again,
he claims he didn't know that already. He claims he didn't know his client was a thief. Then what were you representing him for? Yeah, dude, you figured, hey, I represent him because if I take his money, nobody ever gonna look at me because he's a thief anyway. So hey, ain't nobody gonna look at those thief. All right, here we go.
nowhere does that appear in the complaint. So there's going to be a lot of evidence. There's going to be a lot of facts that are going to come to light.
You're facing, if convicted on all of these charges.
It kind of reminds you of, when a police officer, a crooked police officer, catches somebody who is a drug dealer and steals some of the drug dealer's drug. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
To the rest of your life in prison. Are you nervous?
Well, of course I'm nervous.
Are you scared? Are you concerned? I mean, tell us, I guess, as someone who, again, has a history of representing people, and now you're on the other side, facing some serious charges.
I am nervous. I'm concerned. I'm scared.
But you also seem confident.
I am confident because I believe the facts are on my side.
In a statement, Nike tells CBS News when it became aware of Avenatti's, quote, plans to extort the company, it immediately reported it along with information he shared to federal prosecutors. Nike says it has been cooperating with the government's investigation into NCAA basketball for over a year and encourages Avenatti.
Okay, I just wanted you guys to do a little thing with Mr. Avenatti, and as you guys know, in May, he will be sentenced for his action. Hold on a second.
Coverage of attorney Michael Avenatti arrested in New York and charges being brought against him. I'm going to bring on the phone now Alan Dershowitz, Harvard Law.
That was Alan talking about.
Gary Franklin.
So this is a private conversation, and Avenatti didn't know he was being recorded.
Here's a conversation, y'all.
We're recording him at the request of the FBI back in March.
All right, so
Okay,
this is interesting.
And so what this comes down to, you're going to listen for yourself. Is it what the defense says is that Avenatti just being a hard-nosed lawyer that is, negotiating with these people, or does this rise to the level of extortion?
The reason why I wanted you to explain that for the record is because it's not on the cut sheet that you gave me.
I know.
Yeah. So you made a boo-boo. And you admit that you made a mistake.
I made the mistake in thinking you could actually remember anything. You need everything written down.
No, that's what a cut sheet is for. When you do a 3-hour show, that's the producer's job and responsibility.
Well, I'm saying we have the cut, so let's play the cut.
Thank you. Can you admit that you made a mistake?
Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about everything last week too.
No, you're just not very tall. That's all.
It's just a big blanket apology.
Yes. You're just not very tall. That's all. You're not allowed to go on some.
Oh my God! I didn't even record all that.
Let's play this audio. This is Michael Avenatti, not knowing that he was being recorded. Here it is. That'll listen.
We're going to get $1.5 million for our guy, and we're going to be hired to handle the internal investigation. And if you don't want to do that, we're done. I mean, this isn't that time. No, just listen. Go ahead. I want to be really clear. Okay. I'm not around with this, and I'm not continuing to play games. And I don't, this isn't complicated. You guys know enough now to know you got a serious problem. And it's worth more in exposure to me to just blow the lid on this. A few $1 million doesn't move the needle for me. I'm just being really frank with you. So if that's what is being contemplated, then let's just say it was good to meet you, and we're done. And I'll proceed with my press conference tomorrow, and I'll hang up with you now, and I'll call the New York Times, who are waiting my call. I'm not around with this thing anymore. So if you guys think that we're gonna negotiate in 3 and you're gonna hire us to do an internal investigation, or maybe cap it $3 or $5 or $7 million, like let's just be done. So, Michael, I hear you. Market cap, but I'm not around. Michael, I hear you. You did put a number. No, I don't think you do.
Well.
All right, yeah, that was it. That was it. So that is my little spiel on Mr. Avenatti. He is a convicted felon who provided 3 videotapes to the prosecution side, and now all of a sudden they only received 1 tape and 2 tapes are missing, and they can't find the other 2 tapes. Oh, where did the tapes go? That's basically it, guys. To be continued for our next person. Our back to memory lane. So we'll travel back to memory lane for Mr. Avenatti. And that is it. Someone show. Okay, hold on a second. Someone send me some tapes. Okay, I'm gonna do this another time with the Reface app. Someone send it to me, and then I'm gonna show you guys about it. Okay, I'll show it to you guys on next show. Well, let me show it to you guys now. Let me show you this. Someone. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. I guess somebody says, I thought you. Okay, it says here that you could transfer the faces of people with this app, the Reface app. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. So you could change the people's face. And this one right here. It's just you could change the person's face and put someone else's face on it. But anyway, guys, I am about to hit the road. Guys, I gotta get off. But I just wanted to bring that to you. Our next person, I'll give you guys notice. So we're gonna keep going back memory lane, so you guys can understand why we don't believe half of the stuff these people do. Because you got a bunch of crooks coming together doing certain things. Avenatti was representing 6 people, 6 to 7 people in this case. And the other ones was being represented by Gloria. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. 2 of the lawyers who have some ulterior motive, who both got some issues. Gloria got some stuff going on too. She just hasn't gotten caught yet. But anyway, guys, you guys have a good evening. I am out. Alrighty. I'll see you guys later on. Bye-bye.